this video, we are going to see peer-to-peer applications. There are two types of architecture. One is client-server architecture, the other one is peer-to-peer architecture. So, if you take client-server architecture, the clients will be it will be asking the request to the server to transfer the file, and the server will be providing the files whichever is requested by the client. So this is about client server architecture. The other type is peer-to-peer architecture, in which all the peers will be interchanging the files whichever is required by them. There is no server. Okay, all the peers will be acting as the client as well as the server. Whoever is requesting, they will be considered as a client. Whoever is providing the file, they will be considered as a server. So all the peers in the peer-to-peer architecture are considered as a client as well as the server. Okay. In the peer-to-peer, no always on server. It is not necessary for any peer to be always on. Whereas in the client server architecture, the server should be always on. Arbitrary end systems directly communicate. Yes, all the systems will be communicating directly with each other, and peers are intermittently connected and change IP addresses. So they are connected and it will change the IP address whenever it requires. And the examples are file distribution, BitTorrent, and the streaming concurrent example, and the VoIP. You can take the example as Skype. Next, file distribution using client server versus peer-to-peer. Why we are going to peer-to-peer architecture? What is the disadvantage in client server architecture? See, how much time to distribute file, that is the size F, from one server to n peers. See, if you have client server architecture, how much time it is going to take to distribute the file which is of size F from the one server to n number of clients or n number of peers. See, so US is nothing but the server upload capacity, and here DI is nothing but clients download capacity or peers download capacity. So if I have n clients, then dn. Clear? So un is nothing but server upload capacity, that is US, and di is peer download capacity. If n clients are there, then it is called as dn. Okay, then server transmission, it must be sequentially sent up, that is n file copies. If I have some n clients, then it should be sent sequentially. It cannot be done simultaneously. I cannot distribute the file simultaneously to all the n clients. If n is equal to 50, that is I have 50 clients. If all the 50 clients are requesting to transfer the file, it is not possible for the server to distribute all the 50 files to different clients simultaneously. So it can be done only sequentially. So time to send one copy. So if any client is asking the file, what is the time taken to send a copy to the client? Copy of the file to the client is F by US. F is nothing but the file whose size is F, and by US is nothing but the upload capacity of the server. Throughput is nothing but number of bits transmitted per second. So the same formula is used. Number of bits indicates F here, and throughput is US, and the time is T here. Okay, so from that formula they have derived this. And time to send n copies. If I have 50 clients, I have to transfer the n copies of files to the 50 clients. So my formula would be now nf by US, that is n files I am transferring whose file size is F by my upload capacity, that is server's upload capacity. This is the time taken to transfer n files to my n clients. Okay, so each client must download the file copy. So every client should download the copy which was transferred by the server. So what is its download capacity? That is du. Okay, the dmin is equal to minimum client download rate. That's what we saw. So the time taken to distribute F to n clients, distribute files to n clients using client server approach is the formula. This has been derived now, which is equal to max of nf by US, comma f by dmin. Nf by US is nothing but the upload capacity of the server, time taken to upload the file to the end clients by the server, and F by dmin is nothing but the download capacity of the client. Okay, how much time the client takes to download the file of size F. So whichever is the maximum value, that will be considered as the time to distribute F to end clients using client server approach. Next, file distribution time, peer-to-peer architecture. So now we have to go with the peer-to-peer architecture, and we will calculate what is the time taken by the peer-to-peer architecture. So if I take the same formula, that is server transmission must upload at least one copy. So here in peer-to-peer architecture, what happens is, first let me explain. So the server will be sending it to one peer. That one peer will distribute it to its neighboring peers, and those neighboring peers will be distributing it to their own neighbors. This is how the data moves in case of peer-to-peer architecture. So in that case, how we have to frame the formula is client, the time taken by the client to download the copies as usual F by dmin, and how much time the time taken to distribute the file by the server will be F by US. Since it is not going to transfer the files to all clients, here the formula will be F by US only. It will not be NF by US here. This F by US, since it is going to transfer the file to only one client. And clients as aggregate must download NF bits. Okay. So time taken to distribute, overall what is the formula that we are going to derive is maximum of F by US, that is the time taken by the server to upload one file to its peer, its own immediate peer, comma F by dmin, this is the time taken by the client to download a file, comma NF by US plus sigma UI. What is this? It is the aggregate must download NF bits. So altogether, all the clients, how much time it will take? The time taken by all the end clients to download the data will be upload capacity of the server plus mu of sigma of UI. UI is nothing but number of I is number of clients. So minimum download rate, that is UI. So whichever is the maximum value, that will be the time taken by the peer-to-peer architecture to distribute the files to end clients. So we all know, if you think practically, you just imagine how much time the server will take to distribute the files to 50 clients. If only one server has to distribute the 50 files to 50 clients, how much time it will take? Or else if the server takes if the server is going to distribute the file to one client, and that client will be sending to 5 clients, and those 5 clients will be sending to their own 5 peers, neighboring peers, then how much time it will take? So you, as practically thinking, so if we distribute the work, then the time consumption will be less. That is why we are going for peer-to-peer architecture. No need to rely on one server. If we rely on one person to get some work done, obviously the time taken will be high. That is, time consumption will be high. Whereas if the workload is distributed to number of people, then the time consumption will be less. So with this graph, they have explained what is the time taken by the client server architecture and the peer-to-peer architecture. As long as the number of clients are less, the client server architecture will work fine. The time consumption also will be less. But if you take the number of clients, see here, number of clients when it is 5, the time taken is by the client server architecture as well as the peer-to-peer architecture is more or less 0.5 seconds. If you see the graph, that number of clients, where as the number of clients increases, the time consumption by the server, that is by the client server architecture, also increases rapidly. Whereas the peer-to-peer architecture is not increasing rapidly, gradually it is in the same state. See, the time taken to transfer the file to 35 clients is the 3.5 microseconds by the client server architecture. Whereas by the peer-to-peer architecture, the time taken to transfer the file to 35 people or 35 clients is just 0.5 microseconds. So peer-to-peer architecture is considered to be less time consuming one compared to client server architecture. That's why we are moving for peer-to-peer architecture. Okay, now we'll see BitTorrent, how BitTorrent file distribution takes place. Here what happens, file is divided into 256 KB chunks and the peers in the torrent send or receive file chunks. Okay, tracker, what happens, tracker helps us to track the peer participating in torrent. What is torrent actually? Torrent is nothing but the group of peers exchanging chunk of a file. So in a group there will be 5 or 6 there will be a fixed number of peers. So they will form a group and they will be exchanging the chunks of files between them. So tracker will keep track of the participants in peers participating in the torrent. And allies, see, they are taking the example called allies. Allies arrives and obtains a list of peers from the trackers. So it gets the list of peers who are there in the group. Then and begins exchanging the file chunks with peers in the torrent. So it starts exchanging the files. Pair joining torrent has no chunks but will accumulate them over time from the other pairs. If the allies enters into the group or torrent newly, initially the allies will not be having any files. So after some time it will get the files, gradually it will get the file from other neighboring peers and it will have the list of files. And every constant period of time it will be checking whether it has all the files which is possessed by or which is possessed by the other peers. If it finds that it doesn't have the file which is possessed by the other peers, then it will ask the other peer to transfer. So it registers with tracker to get list of peers and connect to the subset of peers. Yes, with the tracker it is going to register. While downloading, peer uploads chunks to other peers. When it gets the data from the other peers, it also uploads some files to the other peers. Peers may change peers with whom it exchanges chunks. Churn peers may come and go. Churn is nothing but the peers which comes in and goes out are called peers. So once peer has entire file, it may leave or remain in the torrent. So if the allies finds that it has got all the files from this group, then it will leave the allies will leave the group or torrent. Requesting chunks. At any given time, different peers have different subset of file chunks. Yes. So every peer will be having different subset of file chunks. Periodically, allies ask each peer for the list of chunks that they have. So how will I come to know whether I have all the files which the other peers are having? So it will ask. So every peer will be periodically asking the neighboring peers what are the list of chunk or list of files do you have. Then all the peers, all its own neighboring peers will be sending those list of files and the allies will check that the list of files which allies is having and the others are same. If it doesn't, then it will ask for the extra file which is possessed by the other peer and those peer will be sending the file which allies is not having. Allies request missing chunks from the peers. As I said, it will be getting the files which allies doesn't have. So sending chunks tit for tat. As I said, allies send chunks to those 4 peers currently sending her chunks at the higher. The peers who are sending the chunks at the higher rate will be given the files by the allies. So other peers are choked by allies, do not receive chunks from her. So allies will be sending the files to only those 4 peers who are sending to allies at the higher rate. So the other peers other than those 4 peers will be chunking because they will not receive any file from the allies since they are not sending any file to the allies. So re-evaluate top 4 every 10 seconds. So evaluation will be taken every 10 seconds and the top 4 will be taken and to that top 4 the allies also will be sending the files. Every 30 seconds randomly selects another peer, start sending chunks. Optimistically unchoke. This newly chosen peer may join. So newly chosen peer may also join. So tit for tat, allies optimistically unchokes Bob. That is, it will send so many data Alice becomes one of the Bob's top 4 providers. Bob reciprocates. Once the Alice is sending so many data to the Bob, then Alice will be top 4 provider for the Bob. Again, Bob will also send the data for her. So this is how it works. Then under distributed hash table, we have 4 things, that is hash table. So we'll see this in the next session, next video. Thank you. Bye.